So here we go, Mercenary Force on the Game Boy, well, live planning apparently. As you'll see after this clip, I did try this before this actual attempt with 4 people, and I decided this time to only run with 2. The reason being, if there's only 2 of them, especially in a line like this, it's much easier for me to keep them out of the way of the people that shoot you. I mean, the first half of the level, you'll see there's quite an obvious splitting or break in the level, if you will. The first half is fairly straightforward, and it does actually get some fairly tasty enemies later on. They were quite quick. They're not massively strong, but they're quite aggressive, if you will. But yeah, this is my second attempt really, but the one where I do actually manage to finish the first level. So my impressions, review, whatever you want to call it. The enemies are quite, the graphics, we'll start with the graphics, shall we? I think the graphics are pretty good. There's quite a lot going on. That little triangular shape looking doofer right above me now is actually a shop where you go and replenish your character's health. You buy tea or sushi and stuff, and you can't upgrade it. I don't think you can buy any weapons. I don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if you can buy weapons later on. But on this level, of the one attempt I had at going into the shop, because I couldn't get out of it, you could buy, well, health basically for your characters, which I thought was quite a nice little way of. I don't think it's the only one either on this level. I think there's another one. Obviously, you're going to spend the coins that you collect when you shoot people on something, and that's the way you do it. There's not a shop at the end of the level that I can remember. Well, again, don't quote me on that, but you certainly can spend them in level. I mean, the sushi and the tea and stuff, I think it basically equates to the more it costs, the more it replenishes your health. These guys are quite tricky, especially when there's 3 or 4 of them on screen. They swirl quite well, but the attack patterns are predictable, and they're whatever it is they shoot at you isn't particularly difficult to dodge in fairness, but take a hit there. What I would say is I only did this level with 2 people. It is quite tricky with 4 of you. If you take all 4 of the characters you can buy, it is quite tricky keeping them all out of the way. When I took another hit there, my ninja took one for the team. It is quite tricky keeping them out of the way. Anyway, right, so the graphics, I think the graphics are pretty good overall, and there is some issues with the sprites disappearing quite a lot, but there's quite a lot going on. The backgrounds, or the detail of the bamboo trees at the top, are quite good for the Game Boy. The sprites move quick, and this is the halfway boss. The detail in the village background is quite good, considering there's only 4 or 5 colours to pick from. I thought I was going to get trapped in the corner there. There's another shop. I could have gone in there to spend my money, but with my experience, as you'll see in a bit, I didn't bother because I couldn't get out basically. I did actually own this game. The reason why I wanted to bring this game to you is not because it's the best on the Game Boy in any one particular area. I think it's quite fun, but it's not the best. It's not the best shooter. It's not the best game by any stretch. It's not got the best graphics. It's not got particularly the best music. I've done a couple of hits there for the team. But the reason why I wanted to bring you to this game is because it's my first game that I bought that was imported. I went to a particular shop in my hometown that had a lot of imported games, and I think I bought it based on the packaging, to be honest. It was the only time that ever happened. I don't think I'd ever heard of it. I think it was only £10, and this was a long time ago, where £10 is in theory worth a bit more than it is now. And obviously the packaging was American because it had the oval. I didn't realise they were there, them little crafty fish things. The packaging had the oval Nintendo seal on it rather than the round one you get in the UK, or got in the UK rather. You can't buy Game Boy games anymore. And yeah, this is the first imported game I ever bought. I wasn't disappointed. The Game Boy, to my surprise, and I'm amazed Nintendo didn't do anything about this, the Game Boy didn't require any sort of adapter or have any sort of country specific, area specific security chip in it. So whilst the Super Famicom games would fit inside a Super Nintendo, they wouldn't play because of the security chip, and the Game Boy games didn't have that. So this was an American version I had. I think it was about the only imported game I ever got for the Game Boy, but it was good. So this is the dummy run I did by mistake really, guys. I picked a monk, a ninja, a magician lady of some sort, and some sort of Chinese, Japanese foot soldier. So round 1, I was quite confident at the time. I did used to own this game. There's me changing my formation, so you can keep the people spread out, but you have to keep more of an eye on your enemy shooting at if you do that. So keeping them close together was my preferred option. as you see obviously in the previous clip, I only went with 2, because you don't actually need to. You can actually try and do levels like this, if you will, with only 1 person. The advantage is obviously you've got more firepower, and the big disadvantage is you can't actually, what were we going to say there, it's a lot harder rather to keep you guys out of the way. Now this little iconic thing is a shop, and this is where I came unstuck, because I bought a load of sushi, it seems here, and there's some tea and something else, but I got stuck. I like the fact you can do it. I think it's quite a nice little break in the game. Obviously guys, if are injured, it's the only way to replenish them that I can see. You pick up coins as you go along, as you kill enemies, and this is the way that you replenish them. As you'll see, I spend a few minutes faffing around, and I now run out of money, but I couldn't work out how to get out of there. I've pressed every combination of buttons I could think of. Obviously I don't have the instructions, or didn't have the instructions handy at the time, or even now to be honest. So I just kept looking at the shopkeeper. He was offering me things like tea, as you see here, and I couldn't buy any because I didn't have enough money. So I had to reset it. But overall, my feelings towards the game are quite favourable. It's not particularly difficult. It's quite pleasant. The tunes are quite plinky plonky. The graphics for the Game Boy are pretty good. Certainly, you know, I'm in my pet hate against Super Mario Land. If you've ever watched the Super Zap Gaming video I did for Super Mario Land, I thought they were quite bland really. This is quite good. I think there's quite a lot goes on screen. I know there's issues where the sprites disappear, but there's a lot going on. This is, at the moment, doesn't look like I'm doing anything, but when I was recording this I was pressing buttons for Queen and Country and I couldn't ultimately do anything. So if you have a Game Boy emulator and you fancy something a bit different, then I definitely suggest you give this a shot. It plays a good game. It's not massively difficult. There are a lot of tactics, if you will, as you just saw just leading up to me coming into the tea shop. Different people fire in different directions, so it adds a bit of tactics, if you will, to your approach to the game, and it's pretty fun. I certainly would, if I could find it again, you know, car boot sale or something, or it went for £1, I'd probably pick it up because it's quite fun. I still have a Game Boy that works, although a couple of lines of the pixels down the right side don't work anymore. But overall, it's not a bad game. I'm not quite sure how much longer this actually persists, mind you. But anyway guys, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys later. Bye.